Oh boy, it is crunch time, folks. It's crunch time for the Miami Dolphins after losing 33 to 17 to the San Francisco 49ers last Sunday. Tua Tagovailoa is about to play the two most important games of his Miami Dolphins career, and we're going to talk about that tonight. As far as other news surrounding the Miami Dolphins, thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I am your host, of course, Joseph Conlin. We got some topics to talk about. We're going to talk about Teron Armstead and why I have a prediction that he's not going to play Sunday night against the Chargers. Got another flex with the Bills game next week, which you're going to talk about, and the Dolphins, and why I don't think Teron Armstead might not play this Sunday, maybe even next Sunday. Dolphins signed a new veteran tackle, or it just could be for depth, but there's a lot to talk about surrounding this team, and it's glad that I can make these videos late in December, where there's actually something to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about surrounding the Miami Dolphins, and I'm thankful for all of you joining me. Before we get into anything, I'm just going to get into the topics, and then I'm going to save the best for last. I'm going to talk about Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins quarterback, and why I think these are the most important games coming up of his young career as a Dolphins quarterback. But folks, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for all notifications so you don't miss a video. And if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out the post-game recap video that I did last Sunday between the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. And before we even get into the festivities, to the topics, I just want to say thank you to all of y'all. I'm thankful for y'all, man. The views that I'm getting for my videos I've been doing Dolphins content on here for 3 seasons now, 2020, 2021, and this year, 2022. I think this is I think this year, obviously in 2020 when they lost to the Bills, I had my crazy video that just got like 7,000 views and stuff like that. But I think this year, 2022, has been the best year as far as my content for the Miami Dolphins and your guys' interest. So as long as the views are coming in, man, you guys are going to get a lot of Dolphins content, and I appreciate that so much. Like, we're getting way over 100 views of video, and there's some here and there that, might not be at the hundreds, but you know what? I'm still thankful for y'all watching and tuning into the shows, man. So without further ado, let's jump into the topics. First thing we're going to talk about is Teron Armstead. And Teron Armstead, as we know, did not play last Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. He was out with a pectoral strain, and his replacement, Greg Little, did fine. The offensive line, I thought, was okay against the 49ers. Yeah, they did allow a couple sacks, but I thought they played well enough, I thought, to win the game. We just didn't capitalize. We just didn't execute in that game. Do I think part of the reason why Tua wasn't the way he was on Sunday because of Teron Armstead? I don't believe that at all, because the San Francisco 49ers defense, they're just different. They are clearly the best defense in the NFL, and if you don't think so, you're a fool. But I do think that that Teron Armstead not being out there might have had a small impact, but not as big of an impact as many people thought, including myself, because I thought he wasn't playing when he was ruled doubtful. I'm like, oh, shoot. The offensive line, we're going to be in for a long day against these San Francisco 49ers, man. But Teron Armstead posted a story 2 hours ago and said, only if you know, only if you knew, ... I don't know what that means. I'm not going to speculate what that means, but Mike McDaniel did say on his press conference Monday that, he was close to playing. He was really close to playing this week. Just last minute, he was ruled out. He's working really hard. He's optimistic to play against the Chargers. All that stuff. Mike McDaniel, tomorrow and Friday, is going to get us all hyped up. He's going to say, Teron is progressing really well. There's a good chance we could see Teron Armstead on the field Sunday against the Chargers. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. I would love to see Armstead out on the field with the Chargers, and they got Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. That defensive line's not a joke as well, man. They're not a joke at all. So I would love to have Teron Armstead back Sunday night against the LA Chargers, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to play because, a normal pec strain, normal recovery time is like 3 to 6 weeks. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I just want y'all to be aware. Mike McDaniel, and I'm sure I might tweet out some shit of like, oh boy, he might be playing this week, but I'm not going to look too much into it until it's actually confirmed that. I'm really not going to look too much into it until Friday. Friday, I think we'll have a good point of if he's going to play or not. But, yeah, he's going to hype Mike McDaniel. He's going to coach us all up. He's going to hype us all up. Teron Armstead's progressing really well. Teron Armstead has a good chance of playing Sunday. And he did that last week when they were playing the 49ers, and he didn't play. So I'm not falling for it this week. So yeah, just a quick update on that. And to tie into that, Dolphins signed tackle Eric Fisher and placed Austin Jackson on the injured reserve list. So Austin Jackson hurt his ankle against the Texans. He didn't play last week. He's on the injured reserve list. And quite frankly, I hate to say it, but I think Teron Armstead's days as a Miami Dolphin is coming to an end pretty soon. He was a first-round pick for us, a late first-round pick, and it just didn't pan out well. It didn't pan out well his rookie year. Last year, he was really bad. He was really bad last year. This year, he got hurt against the Patriots week 1, didn't come back against the Texans, and was bad. And that's me putting it in nice terms, that he played bad against the Texans. And you go back, you watch the tape, he was bad. He was really bad, man. And now he's back on the injured reserve. At this point of the season, I don't think there's going to be a need for Austin Jackson to be out there. Now that you have Brandon Shell, and now that you have Eric Fisher, I don't think there's going to be a need for Austin Jackson anymore on this team. And it sucks that he didn't pan out, but some players don't pan out. Austin Jackson didn't work out with the Dolphins, and clearly Noah Igbenogany did not work out with the Dolphins because he's on the injured reserve. He's a healthy scratch every week. So yeah, it stinks, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins just move on for him because he hasn't been providing what we needed at the right tackle position. But now with Austin Jackson on the injured reserve, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. He's going to be out for at least 4 games. The Dolphins signed veteran tackle Eric Fisher, former first-round pick, who's been in the NFL for 9 years now, and I really like this move. I really like this move because, number one, the Miami Dolphins just need depth on the offensive line. Okay, Austin Jackson is hurt, Liam Eichenberg is hurt, and Armstead's hurt. We really don't have much depth on the offensive line, and especially tackle. You know, the other 3 positions, you know, Robert Jones came in and replaced Liam Eichenberg after he got hurt against the Lions. He's done a very nice job. Connor Williams as a center this year has been really good. Robert Hunt as a right guard has been solid. I'm fine with those 3 positions. It's really the tackle where we need depth. And I think Eric Fisher provides that. That's good. And if, God forbid, when Armstead comes back, if he gets hurt again, you know, maybe we can go to Eric Fisher and we don't have to go to Greg Little. But I don't think Eric Fisher is going to play this week against the Chargers. Last year he was on the Colts. Didn't really have a great year with the Colts. But 2020, his following year with the Chiefs, he had a really good year. And he had a PFF grade of 80. So I would say that's a pretty solid year for him. And I just like this pickup because you know, the Dolphins' offensive line, they need depth. And it's a veteran tackle who, you know, in these cold weather games coming up, maybe against the Bills, against the Patriots, possibly in the playoffs if you're a wild card team, because let's be real, folks, if Miami's a wild card team in the postseason, round 1, wild card weekend, they're probably going to be either going to, you know, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee, possibly Kansas City, one of those places, Buffalo. More than likely, if they're a wild card team, they're going to have a cold weather game right off the bat. So, I like this move. I like this move a lot, and I think it's good. I think it's good that the Dolphins brought in Eric Fisher. One more thing before we get into the Tua discussion. The Tua discussion. I can't talk. The Miami Dolphins have been flexed again to next week against the Bills. They are flexed to Saturday night against the Bills. So the Sunday night game next week is the New York Giants against the Washington Commanders, and the Saturday night game next week is the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be really, really cold in Buffalo next week. I don't know what the weather is going to be right now, but it's going to be a challenging next couple weeks, a challenging next couple days for this Miami Dolphins team. Which, listen, I'm not going to complain about it. I have no problem getting another primetime game, which has the possibility of being for the AFC East if we can beat the Chargers this week. And that would make for the game being for the AFC East, basically. That game's going to be for the division if we can beat the Chargers, and it's going to be cold. It's going to be a challenge. You're talking about Miami playing Sunday night against the Chargers, leaving the next day to go back home to Miami, and leaving probably Friday to go to Orchard Park in Buffalo, New York, to go play those Buffalo Bills on Saturday night, man. But I'm excited. This is what good football gets us. So far this season, the Miami Dolphins are 8-4. With the reactions of them losing to the San Francisco 49ers, you'd think they're 4-8. But this team's actually 8-4 and is playing really good football this season and has beaten teams like the Ravens, like the Bills, the Patriots week 1, now and you've played high-level games against Pittsburgh on prime time. Chicago was a tough game. Detroit was a tough game. This team's been through a lot this season, and this is what the results are. You play really good throughout the season, you get more spotlight, and the Miami Dolphins are getting all the spotlight for the next 3 weeks. Sunday night against the Chargers this week, Saturday night against the Bills next week, and then Christmas Day against the Green Bay Packers. And you know what? I love it. But now that's going to tie into my last topic, which is Tua Tagovailoa. And we all know that Tua Tagovailoa had his worst game against the 49ers on Sunday. And it's weird because, I just found this stat today. Tua, in his career playing at Levi Stadium, is 0-2. He played there in the national championship for Alabama against Clemson when they got throttled 44-16. And in that game, he also had 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers, he had 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But, yeah, he had his worst game of the season on Sunday. There's no denying that. He was not good at all, besides that 1 touchdown pass to Trent Sherfield for 75 yards on the first play of the game. He was not good in the first half, and that's a huge reason why the Dolphins ended up losing the game on Sunday. But now that game's in the past. It's over. It's done with. We lost. We got to move on. And I've already moved on from that game. But now we have a challenge in front of us. We have 2 straight road games. We had 1. Now we had 2 more road games on this road trip at the Chargers and at the Bills. These are the 2 most important games of Tua Tagovailoa's career as a Miami Dolphin so far. He now has to go prove himself in front of the whole world and be like, you know what? I'm just going to shrug that last game off my shoulders. I'm going to go out and I'm going to ball out in front of the entire world on Sunday night. I'm not even worried about the Bills game yet. 1 game at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 opponent at a time. I'm worried about the Chargers. Okay? From what we've seen in the past, when Tua has bad performances, he learns from them, he fixes his mistakes, and he performs well the next week. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. You don't want to kick a man when he's down. Okay? You don't want to kick a man while he's down. You want to see how he responds. And this week, we're going to see how Tua Tagovailoa responds against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers defense has some talent, not going to lie. Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, they have some nice talent over there on the defensive side. However, they are not the San Francisco 49ers defense, okay? They are not as scary as the 49ers defense are. And I'll talk more about this on Friday, but in my opinion, I'm confident that QB1 is going to go prove himself Sunday night. He's going to go prove himself that not only Am I getting that last week? Am I brushing that game last week off? But I'm going to go show why the Miami Dolphins made the right choice in picking me over the quarterback on the other side of the field. Because that's a whole other debate that people have had for years. Oh, the Miami Dolphins screwed up in the 2020 draft. They should have taken Justin Herbert over Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa is never going to get the Dolphins to success. Tua is never going to have success on the Miami Dolphins. Under Brian Flores, yeah, he had no success under the Miami Dolphins. He was bad. Brian Flores almost ruined Tua to the point where Tua was asking himself in the mirror, do I suck? And this year, Mike McDaniel has changed that entire narrative and has brought out an entirely new side of Tua. But this is Tua's first loss. Let me tell you that again. This is Tua's first loss this season. And people want to get on his neck. Well, this week, it's his time to go prove all the doubters wrong once again in front of the entire world and be like, I am him. So, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. I'm getting out of here. Just a short and sweet video, 20 minutes. I'll be back Friday with the preview for the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football. A big game to talk about. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. I'm actually going to be back tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. I will be doing an AEW Dynamite review, I promise, for all my wrestling fans. So tune into that. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Leave a comment down below on anything that you want to talk about. And follow me on Twitter at comment_Joseph. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a good night. Excuse me. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay classy. Fins up. I'm out. Peace.